Good morning. I thought it was kind of interesting that we read the Heart Sutra today, and it was talking about emptiness, because that's, when we get into this, you'll find that's one of the biggest points that I was going to discuss this morning. If you're a fan of WBZ, as I am, you might have heard the introduction to the show 848, in that you hear the reference to Carl Sandburg's poem where he says, called Chicago, the city of big shoulders. Well, to me, that phrase exemplifies what Buddhism should be. It's a Buddhism where people are not afraid to roll up their sleeves and help others with strength and compassion. That's exactly what I see here at BTC. A living, breathing example of the Dharma, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I'm proud to be a member of the Sangha here. Many people think that Buddhism is about sunny affirmations, letting go, becoming carefree while meditating and watching the sunset. On TV, Buddhism is portrayed as self-help or self-improvement. Many New Age groups promote meditation as a release from life sufferings and inner peace. These are all wonderful components of the Dharma, but it's not the essence of Buddhism. And without this essence, something is missing. So now we have to answer the question, what is this essence that we speak of? Well, for this, we're going to look to the 4 Dharma seals. Many times you'll hear it referred to as the 3 Dharma seals, but I wanted to cover the second one is kind of part of the other ones, but you'll understand what I mean here. The first Dharma seal is all compound things are impermanent. 2, all emotions are painful. 3, all phenomena are empty, which is, I always like to hear that in the Heart Sutra this morning, talking about it. And 4, that nirvana is beyond concepts or extremes. So let's take a look at the 4 Dharma seals in detail. We're going to first look at the first one, which is all compound things are impermanent. This is simply a restating of second law of thermodynamics, which basically shows that the universe is going to come to an end, no matter how much we would like to think that it's not. Therefore, every phenomena that we can think of is subject to impermanence. This includes the not-so-obvious dimensions of time and space. Time, if you think about it, is obviously impermanence. We can't have this moment without having a past or having a future. If we were, we would just have this moment and that would be it. What about space? Well, I can be here, I can be here, back over here, I can be up or down. Either way, I can only be in one place or the other or in transition. The planets move around. Where the sun is now is not where it is now. The light from the sun was at the sun 8 minutes ago before it gets to us now. Everything is impermanent and through change. So what about other things we have? Your body. We have everybody. Is everybody here the exact same age, born in the exact same moment? No, we're all impermanent. We're going to be born, we're going to grow old, and we're going to die. What about your car? If you've ever bought a new car, you know the moment of impermanence. That is the moment your warranty expires. Everything is then out the window. Everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Some people think this makes Buddhists very pessimistic. I totally disagree with that. Without impermanence, if you became depressed, you would always be depressed. If you got a job and you hated that job, you would be stuck at that job. If you took a class and that was the only class you could take for eternity, I think and you hated it, you might not want to be in that class anymore. The delusion comes and the pain comes when the idea of impermanence is not accepted. When we understand that things are going to change, then we're liberated. Understanding impermanence prepares us to accept the loss of things. It is because of our understanding and acceptance of impermanence that we seek refuge in the Amida Buddha. The second of the 4 Dharma seals I want to talk about is all emotions are painful. Simply put, even the most pleasurable emotions are transient and carry with them the anticipation of ending. In the Pali Canon, the Buddha said in the Fire Sutra, everything is on fire. What is on fire? The 6 sense organs, the 6 object of the senses, the 6 consciousness, all are on fire. Every feeling is burning, whether it is unpleasant, pleasant, or neutral. Now, we obviously think of emotions such as jealousy or anger as painful. But what about love, kindness? We don't generally think of them as painful, but they do imply a duality. You can be in love, you can be out of love, you could have had someone do an act of kindness towards you, or they can have been unkind to you. So there's a duality in them. There's a Japanese word which I picked up from Bill's page, banbu. It illustrates this kind of duality. A banbu is described as a person that fluctuates from one emotion to another, jumping back and forth. When that positive emotion is gone, there's going to be pain and a longing to have that pleasurable feeling again. This causes sentient beings to be consumed with seeking that next positive emotion. And then we have the passions. If you look, our media today portrays that all the time. All you see is the healthy, the wealthy, beautiful, strong, doesn't show the things. It reminds me of the way Siddhartha was before he became the Buddha, when he was in the temple in his kingdom, and his family was protecting him from the truths of the world. So that he ended up, when he went out and he saw sickness and death and all of those things, he went, wait a minute, that was not reality. That's what our television media portray. Shinran advocates taking refuge in the Amida Buddha to help us overcome such blind passions and to reach enlightenment. There's a proverb I'd like to mention that illustrates this seal. It's interesting to think of when you think of emotions. Next time you shake someone's hand and you meet them, and I apologize for butchering the Japanese, it's a wakare no hajime, which translates to meeting is only the beginning of separation. Or as we say, you'll hear it said in a English or American euphemism, this too shall pass. So now we'll move on to the third of the 4 Dharma seals, which is considered the cornerstone of all Buddhist teachings. This one's a little bit longer, and I apologize. I wanted to get through all of this. It is all phenomena are empty. They are without inherent existence. So now we have to think about, what do we mean by empty? What is emptiness? To understand this philosophical term, let's take a look at a simple, solid object, such as a cup. How is a cup empty? Is it empty? Looks like it. But is it really empty? The cup is empty of liquids. It's empty of solids. But it's full of air. It's full of its own substance. To be precise, then, how can we state that a cup is empty? Let's put this in a vacuum in space. Is it empty? No. Still has electrons, vacuum, radiation, and still its own substance. Hence, from a physical point of view, this cup is always full of something. Yet, from a Buddhist point of view, the cup is always empty. That is because the Buddhist understanding of emptiness is different from physical meaning. The cup being empty means that it is devoid of inherent existence. It looks like it exists, right? What is meant by this non-inherence of existence? Is this to say that the cup does not ultimately exist? Not quite. The cup exists, but like everything in the world, its existence depends on other phenomena. There's nothing in the cup that is inherent to a cupness or to cups in general. Properties such as it being hollow, spherical, cylindrical are not, or leak-proof, are not intrinsic to the cup. Other objects, which are not cups, have similar properties. such as vases, glasses, bottles. If I put my hands together, what do we call this? Cupping of the hands, right? But is it a cup? No. So therefore, the cup's properties and components are neither cups themselves, nor do they imply a cupness. The material is not the cup. The shape is not the cup. The function is not the cup. Only all of these aspects together make up a cup. Hence, we can say that the cup is a collection of specific conditions that require for us to recognize this as a cup. It depends on the combinations of function, use, shape, base material, and other of the cup's aspects. Only if all these exist simultaneously does the mind attribute a cupness to the object. If one condition ceases to exist, for example, the cup shape is altered, it's no longer a cup. The cup now fits some or all of its cupness, its attributes. We would now call it trash. Thus, the cup's existence depended on external circumstances. Once again, its physical essence remains elusive. Perhaps the cupness is in the mind. Is it possible that the mind is responsible for the existence of these objects? If so, we could all just will a cup into being to have another one. But the mind does not perceive cups if there is no visual or tactile sensation. And if there's no visual or tactile sensation, then there can be no physical object. The perception thus depends on the presence of sensations. Which in turn relies on the presence of the physical object. Therefore, we can say that the cup's essence is not in the mind. It is also not found in the physical object. So then obviously, its essence is neither physical nor mental. So where does the cupness come from? If it cannot be found in the physical world, not in the mind, nor in the heavenly realm, then we must conclude that the objects of perception have no inherent existence. So if we can show that a cup has no inherent existence, or no essence, then it follows that all compound things, including humans, have no inherent essence. We looked at the sutra here, and he talks about form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. The origin nature of all things is emptiness. Nothing is born or extinguished. Once we understand that, we realize that we and the world are empty. Then we no longer have unrealistic expectations of what will happen, what will occur. Then we can find peace in the midst of chaos. And the last of the four Dharma seals is that nirvana is beyond extreme or concepts. It is peace. This seal is something unique to Buddhism. In many philosophies or religions, the final goal is something that can be held onto or kept, some sort of essence that is out there. The final goal is the only thing that truly exists. But nirvana is neither fabricated nor does it exist. It cannot be held onto or achieved, hence referring to it as beyond extremes or concepts. Nirvana means the extinguishing of fires of passion that we spoke of earlier. It is said that nirvana cannot be described, only experienced. And as I have not attained such a state, I will follow the advice of Wittgenstein, who wrote in his Tractus Logic Philosophicus, whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent. Thank you.